Asia's tourism world didn't collapse overnight, it slowly cracked in silence while most travelers were still posting postcard-perfect photos on Instagram. In 2026, the cracks finally became impossible to ignore. What you'll see in this video isn't sensationalism, it's the quiet reality Western travelers are walking into across Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, India, Japan, Bali, and the Philippines. The truth is simple, Asia still looks beautiful from a distance, but up close the experience feels unexpectedly different. Hotels that once fought for bookings now sit with unoccupied suites, and the familiar rush of travel crowds has thinned into something calmer and unsettling. Taxi drivers, shop owners, and tour operators are all telling the same story across 8 countries. Something has fundamentally shifted. Thailand's beach towns are still breathtaking, but the energy that once defined them has faded. Visitors walk along coastlines that look like paradise, yet they sense an emotional emptiness that wasn't there a few years ago. Vietnam's famous hotspots like Da Nang and Nha Trang feel quieter even during peak season. The streets are still beautiful, but locals quietly admit that the tourist flow no longer matches the booming expectations built during the early 2020s. Malaysia, once confident about its rising tourism industry, has entered a period of hesitation. Kuala Lumpur's mega malls and boutique hotels remain impressive, yet foot traffic and spending patterns have shifted lower than many predicted. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka faces a completely different emotional landscape. Its beauty never disappeared, but global uncertainties, climate shocks, and shifting traveler priorities change the rhythm of tourism in ways few politicians are willing to acknowledge. India's tourism story is the most complex. The country has some of the world's most vibrant cultural destinations, yet unpredictable weather patterns, extreme heat events, and infrastructure pressures have forced travelers to become far more cautious. Then there's Bali, the icon of Asian travel, now dealing with a slowdown that locals describe as a reset that arrived too early. The island is still magical, but visitor patterns are softer, spending is lower, and the old tourism model no longer works the way it once did. Japan, surprisingly, is also feeling the shift. The country still attracts millions, but travelers increasingly describe a disconnect between the online hype and the on-ground experience. Across all of Asia, the defining theme of 2026 is the same: tourism didn't collapse, it recalibrated. Travelers are spending differently, choosing destinations more carefully, and expecting deeper value instead of surface-level beauty. Many Western travelers now prefer authenticity over crowded hotspots, and that shift is hitting Asia's traditional tourist zones the hardest. Destinations that relied on predictable visitor flows suddenly face an uncertain future. Climate disruptions have amplified the change even further. Flooding, extreme heat waves, typhoons, and rising sea levels have reshaped travel calendars in ways that governments never anticipated. Local tourism boards rarely acknowledge it, but travelers feel it instantly. The weather patterns are more unpredictable, and each season carries a sense of uncertainty. In 2026, tourists no longer treat weather warnings as background noise, they treat them as real threats. Behind the scenes, rising operational costs have pushed many hotels to quietly cut staff or scale back services. Western travelers notice the difference immediately because the emotional warmth that defined Asian hospitality now feels stretched thin. Currency fluctuations added yet another layer of complexity. Some countries suddenly became cheaper for tourists, while others priced themselves out without realizing it. Another factor few talk about is emotional fatigue. Locals across Asia describe a slow, quiet burnout among service workers who have navigated years of inconsistent tourism patterns and rising cultural pressure from over-tourism. Travel expectations have changed as well. Western tourists now want cleaner beaches, stable weather, reliable infrastructure, and meaningful experiences, and when those expectations aren't met, they simply choose different destinations. The final and most silent issue is competition. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Georgia, Portugal, and the UAE have aggressively targeted Western travelers with luxury incentives that Asia once dominated. Asia's tourism collapse isn't a dramatic crash, it's a slow unraveling caused by climate pressure, economic shifts, cultural fatigue, and global competition. Travelers sense this instinctively because the emotional pulse of their favorite destinations feels different. Yet the region isn't dying, it's redefining itself. Asia's beauty, hospitality, and cultural depth remain unmatched, but the world that once guaranteed tourism success has changed forever. This new era demands adaptation, innovation, and honesty from governments and businesses that once relied on endless tourist arrivals. Whether Asia rises stronger or falls further will depend on how quickly these destinations embrace the transformation happening right now. Travelers who return in 2026 will witness a region standing at a crossroads, not collapsing, but recalibrating in real time. And the truth is simple, the Asia that emerges from this shift may be very different from the Asia the world once knew. Asia is entering a new tourism era where travelers no longer chase popularity, they chase stability and emotional comfort. The countries that understand this shift are already beginning to rise above the crisis. Thailand is quietly repositioning itself as a premium value destination rather than a low-budget one. Hoteliers are focusing on smaller, calmer experiences instead of mass-market tourism that once filled the beaches. Vietnam is leaning into culture and depth rather than trying to compete on price alone. Cities like Hue, Hoi An, and Dalat now attract travelers seeking meaning instead of crowds. Malaysia is exploring a softer, more refined identity built around nature, cuisine, and urban sophistication. Kuala Lumpur's luxury hotels, despite the slowdown, continue providing some of the region's best value for Western visitors. Sri Lanka is embracing longer stays, slow travel, and wellness-focused tourism to move beyond the volatile boom and bust cycles of the past. Travelers who once rushed through Colombo and Kandy now stay longer, spend calmer, and seek emotional grounding in the island's landscapes. India is facing the biggest challenge and opportunity at the same time. Climate unpredictability is forcing its tourism industry to evolve faster than expected, but its cultural gravity remains one of the strongest in all of Asia. Cities like Jaipur, Kochi, Varanasi, Mumbai, and Goa continue to attract travelers who want authenticity rather than perfection. Even with changing weather patterns, India offers something no competitor can replicate: emotional depth and cultural intimacy. Bali knows it can't rely on past glory forever, and the island is slowly reinventing itself. Sustainability, community integration, and experience-driven travel are taking center stage, pulling Bali toward a more balanced future. Indonesia beyond Bali is emerging with surprising strength. Places like Flores, Sumba, Labuan Bajo, and Lombok are gaining attention from Western travelers who prefer quiet escapes over viral hotspots. Japan is also undergoing its own transformation. After years of explosive popularity, the country is gently shifting toward a calmer, more mindful tourism model that values respect, culture, and emotional connection. All these changes reflect a deeper truth: the new era of travel is built on intention, not impulse. Western tourists no longer pick destinations based on hype, they pick them based on emotional value. Climate pressures remain the largest wildcard shaping Asia's next tourism chapter. Flooding, heat waves, typhoons, and drought cycles are forcing destinations to rethink infrastructure, insurance, and seasonal strategies. Travelers are adjusting as well. Instead of relying on predictable patterns, they plan with flexibility, choose months more carefully, and often prefer shoulder seasons over peak holidays. One of the biggest surprises is how quickly loyalty has shifted. Western travelers who once returned to the same Asian destination every year are now exploring new countries that offer clearer value and more stable conditions. But this shift doesn't spell the end of Asia's travel story. In fact, it may mark the beginning of its most important evolution. The region has always proven resilient, adaptable, and emotionally magnetic. As tourism patterns recalibrate, Asia has the chance to rebuild a new kind of travel identity, one built on authenticity, sustainability, emotional connection, and long-term value. This is a moment of challenge, but also a moment of reinvention. Travelers visiting in 2026 will witness the region rewriting its tourism future in real time. The old cycle of overcrowding, overpricing, and over-tourism is fading, giving way to something quieter, more deliberate, and more meaningful. Western tourists will play a major role in shaping this new reality. What they choose to value, calm, culture, nature, connection, or affordability, will become the direction in which Asia evolves. Despite the challenges, the emotional power of Asia hasn't dimmed. From the temples of Thailand to the markets of Vietnam, the beaches of Sri Lanka to the luxury towers of Malaysia, the feeling of wonder remains unbroken. And that is why Asia will not collapse. It will transform. It will adapt to a world that no longer travels the way it once did. The Asia you see today is not in decline, it is in transition. And the travelers who understand this shift will experience the region in its most honest and authentic form. Because the real beauty of Asia has never been the crowds, the prices, or the hype, it has always been the emotion beneath the surface. And in 2026, that emotion matters more than ever.